Hello and welcome to this demonstration video. My name is Patrick Webb, in case you don't know me already. And this video is intended to share the knowledge and help people set up their own audio-visual solutions at home or their office who aim to get a much more refined and, let's say, professional look for their content creation. Now I'm going to go through a very simple setup all the way to a complicated setup, and I'm going to walk through the different technology that I used to be able to achieve what I've done. So it's going to go through either internal recording up to even putting it into the computer ready for streaming or doing live content via social media platforms. So I think that will do it for the introduction. So let's get into the content of this video. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so first things first, I think to keep it as simple as possible for the vast majority of people who are getting started out with content creation or doing their own demonstration videos or educational videos such as this, I'll just keep it simple and just say content creation in this case. So very simple. I'll run a side-by-side video. I'll be using my iPhone and also the microphone wired directly into this. The intention of all of this is to get across to be able to say, hey, look, you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars or krona or euros or pounds or wherever you're watching this from to be able to achieve a professional look, and to have a look at your used markets or maybe what you've already got in your house or what you can borrow off your friends and family to be able to achieve a professional looking video. Now, of course, when you have little experience or no experience, it can be a bit daunting when coming into this world of video creation or content creation. And there are a few things that you've got to keep in mind, but the best way to do it is to just keep it as simple as possible. Now, this setup here today is super simple, and I've done this in intention to encourage everybody to be able to mimic what I've done in the simplest way possible. So, for example, here I'm running a simple key light, and this particular one that I have is the Nanlite Forza 60B for bicolor, and I'm running it through just a softbox here just to give the illumination to the picture here. So that's kind of like first thing to think about when trying to achieve an exposed image here. Naturally, you need light to expose an image so the sensor can get some light onto it. Then the next part that people have to think about is the audio. So what kind of audio are we going to run into the camera? Now, of course, there are a plethora of different ways of being able to capture audio, whether it's wired solutions, bigger studio setups, wireless solutions, etc., etc. But for this particular demonstration, I'm running a single cable from the camera itself here into this very inexpensive microphone here from Rode, and that's running through an extension cable directly into the camera. So this is all hardwired, and it's a very cheap setup, and you can use pretty much any camera on the market today. You can even use your iPhone, to be honest. So I'm for this particular demonstration, I have an iPhone which is with a very cheap microphone that I bought secondhand for 110 krona, which is about $10-15 Australian, or like £8 or whatever on the secondhand market. So if you know what you're looking for, you can find some great deals to be able to produce content like what I'm doing right here. So I'm going to show some behind the scenes, or just show what I'm talking about here in terms of the actual equipment that I'm using here in this demonstration. So here we are, we're on the other side of the table now, and I'm just showing you what it looks like behind the camera. So as I was saying before, we've got that microphone that's on the boom arm over there. As I said, very inexpensive, and you can see here that there's the extension cable that's running all the way to the camera here. So this is hardwired. so we have a direct signal. In my experience, sometimes this is best when you've got a stationary subject, and also when you've got a stationary camera. It's very simple, and you know that it's going to work. And yeah, I think that makes sense for a lot of people, particularly when they're making a home studio like this. It's very simple to set up, and once you light it well, I mean, it even looks good on the iPhone here too. So you can really achieve anything today, and you don't need to buy an expensive Fujifilm camera like this if you don't have the budget. I mean, most cameras these days will do the job, but even saying so, you can pick up this Fuji, which is great quality for a relatively cheap price these days. So yeah, let's move on to the next part of this demonstration video, and talk a little bit more about what we can do if we were not wanting to be so stationary and wanted to move around a little bit more. In this demonstration video, I'm going to do a walk-in, and here this is a wireless audio solution, which is fantastic for those people who like to stand up during their presentations, or who are standing in front of a green screen and doing some composite work. But for this particular demonstration, it just goes to show that you are a lot more mobile and free instead of being anchored to a chair and having a boom mic there. Now, it's a different situation to be in, of course, in a different setup. However, it gives you the option to be able to be flexible and more free to when you're presenting. Let's say, for example, here, you can still able to hear me as I'm talking, and I'm pointing towards these roses here, and you can still hear me clearly. Whereas that would not be possible when I was sitting down on the chair with this boomed mic here, because then as soon as I move my head away from the microphone, you wouldn't hear me for this one. Let me just show you a couple of clips here with the iPhone. I'll switch over to the iPhone now, and I can show you exactly what I'm talking about here for this particular inexpensive wireless microphone solution. Now, this is a pretty raw video here, but I think you'll all appreciate the realness of it all. So what I had on me before was this microphone, and that was attached to my t-shirt. In a more professional setup, or when you're doing it in studio, you're going to want to make sure you either hide this or have this kind of clipped to your attire. Depending on your attire, you may have a shirt on, and you can kind of clip it onto the to where the buttons are. And again, this is all dependent on the attire you got, how clean it's going to look. Some people actually don't even have the microphone in here, and they just use the internal mic that's on most of these wireless recorders. Now, this is a transmitter. This particular one cost me, I think it was about 700 krona, and this is a half decent one if you're going to invest in something relatively cheap. The only thing is this one doesn't do internal recording like the Rode mics do, but it's a nice solution, very clean audio as you can hear. And when we move over to the actual camera itself, how it's set up, I've got the receiver here, and that's simply just connected to the mic port here in the camera, and that's all recording internally. And that's just a good way to be able to get a nice professional sounding audio on a budget. Let's move over to the next section. Yeah, so for the light solution, this is a very, very, very value for money little setup here. I have used these little lights for years with my work, and I love them to bits, and they're very inexpensive, and they produce very high quality light. This one might set you back, let me see, what was the price for this one? I think I paid maybe 2,000 krona or 1,500, 2,000 krona second hand, so that's about what, 250 bucks. But once you get one of these, you can wire it directly into the DC output, or you can buy some inexpensive Sony batteries with a little hand grip with this and have a mobile lighting solution, and it gives fantastic light. I mean, even just looking here with the iPhone, you can see the fine definition that it gives. I would highly recommend this particular light. Of course, you can get cheaper budget solutions, and or expensive. You got anywhere up from Aperture or RE, and there are many different brands now that create these ones. Or if you want to go more cheaper versions, I've heard really good reviews from Small Rig and Godox. But for my particular recommendation and my hardcore use, I really rely on these Nanlite lights here. This next part of the video is going to deal with a little bit more professional equipment when it comes to content creation. In this demonstration, I'll be using the Blackmagic production camera 4K to be able to go through a little bit more complicated setups. For example, using studio microphones, handheld microphones like this where they use XLR cables, and to send them through either amplifiers, audio cards, and getting them ready to send directly into the camera, and then with intention to be able to record directly via a studio recorder to send it to a computer, getting ready for either recording directly to a studio computer or getting it prepared and ready for streaming on various social media platforms or other streaming software like OBS and whatnot. So I think the best way to get into this demonstration is to walk through some of the gear that I have here on the table. Now, first things first is that this is a Blackmagic production camera, 4K. This came out many years ago, so you can pick one of these up for super cheap on the used market. I bought this one the other day for 4,000 krona, which is about 500 bucks used, and it came with the cage, it came with an SSD, and yeah, really good value for a really nice little production camera here. And I'm going to use this one for this demonstration video. Now I've got a few different setups for the audio solutions here. I've got the Scarlett IO from Focusrite here as my main sound card that I'll be using to power the studio microphones that I got here, as well as a non-conventional way of capturing audio to a camera. But this might be useful for some people who may actually have this equipment at home or who may be looking for this particular effect when they're capturing their content. I don't know. I'm just using this for demonstration purposes here to see what's actually possible to capture in a studio setup like this. Also is to show that it is possible, and this is also dependent on people's budgets. So you may not have the money to buy a production camera like this, and you may already have the cameras at home, like let's say for example a Canon 550D, which I've got there, which can record video. And yeah, you can pretty much do anything these days with the technology that's available. Another aspect of studio recording is the hardware that you're going to need to use to capture an image if you want to send it through ready for streaming services, or if you're just recording it directly to the computer as an archival piece. There are certain inexpensive solutions like this Blackmagic Mini studio recorder, so the Ultra Studio Mini recorder. This has got professional SDI as well as HDMI inputs there to cater for vast majority of cameras, such as the Fujifilm that I'm filming on now. I can send out an output from the camera directly into this mini recorder and use either the camera as a webcam or for whatever studio presentation I want to do. The SDI is for the more professional cameras that have SDI outputs to be able to send a signal via SDI directly to the computer for recording or streaming software, or a webcam if you really feel the need. The next aspect about it is, and this is something that is a bit of a side bonus thing here, I've got an older Thunderbolt cable here. A lot of the older computers, older Macs, like what I'm running here, I've got a 2013 Mac, which I'm using for this demonstration. And this particular production camera here has indeed a Thunderbolt connected to it. So I can connect this cable directly into the camera, and then from the camera I can directly connect it to the computer And without having to have all of these extra bits of hardware, I can plug the camera directly into the computer and then use that as a webcam or the capture device there, which is another fantastic and fun little solution to keep in mind. Now, for this particular demonstration, I've got the studio camera set up here, and in this studio camera I have connected the studio microphone via the audio card here, the audio device, and I've also got a tube amplifier connected to a Shure kind of show microphone, one of these handheld mics, and I'm going to be running separate demonstrations here and showing you from different perspectives here. I'm going to use my iPhone for one perspective. I'm going to use the internal camera. I'm also going to use a recording from the computer, and of course from the original camera setup that we started with. Here is a little bit more complicated demonstration because I have to go do a walkthrough of some of the equipment, but I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible for you. So let's start recording on the computer. Sorry, on the camera here, and I'm also going to start capturing on the computer as well. So I'm going to put on my headphones here so I can monitor the audio, so I'm not going to get any peaking or whatnot. And I'll just switch over to the iPhone so we can have a bit of another perspective here. So yeah, just to run through the process here, I hit record, so I've got recording this image right now. As you can see here, we've got a live feed. Just checking if that's in focus or not. And I've also got this recording through the capture software here, which I'll go through a little bit later. So now what we want to do is we want to get an audio solution coming through the camera itself. So here's what I was talking about before. This is the I/O, the audio card. So this is the device that's actually USB powered, so I have that connected to the computer, but you can find other solutions for that if you want to have standalone. And this was the tube amplifier that I was talking about before with the Shure microphone. Also we have the Scarlett Studio microphone directly connected here to capture that audio. So first things first on my list of things to do, I want to get a signal from the Scarlett microphone. So with the Scarlett microphone, this is 48 volts, so phantom power, and this is connected into the red cable. So I want to be able to get a signal coming through here. So now we've got a signal that is being sent into the audio card there, like so. Now I'm just going to get the monitoring, which sounds good enough here, like I'm getting close to the microphone, which I'll switch over to the camera in just a minute. So I may be repeating myself here, but I'm just doing a little audio check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this monitor switch here to be able to start sending a signal right into the camera. So you'll start to see that the camera is now receiving audio, and when I get closer to the microphone like this, we will get some nice audio from the microphone into the camera itself. And you can see that there's also in the recording software, you can see that there is a signal coming through there as well. So for this demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the production camera so we can hear what's going on there. Now, just as a producer side note here, today I forgot to bring my longer SDI cable that I can plug into the camera here, into this one, so I had to jimmy up a solution where I used a super clamp to hold the mini recorder so I could get that cable into the computer there. Normally I would recommend investing in longer SDI cables for your productions, but in this case, this is what I live for, creating a solution for everything, because you don't want this stuff hanging, because it can either be a very expensive lesson and you don't want to destroy any of the connections on your equipment. What I've done now is for this demonstration here, I have moved the mic, this studio mic, over onto the boom arm, so we can run this demonstration in this studio setup. I've just got a little standard SSD drive here going in from SATA directly into the computer, and as you can see here, I've got the capture going on, which is quite fun, and then we've got the camera set up over here. Then, as I was saying, it was going through that line, the jack cables directly into the Focusrite Scarlett device here, and then there's the XLR cable that you can see here that's going into the mic that you can see me on the main camera. Now, I can't guarantee right in this particular moment in time of a recording how it's going to sound on playback, but I would assume that potentially it has some hissing, which I want to try and mitigate as much as possible in this demonstration here, because hissing is not good. Alright, so now we are recording internally into the production camera, 4K, to see if we can figure out what is going on here. If it is in fact just the preamps of the camera being not fantastic, or if it's got something to do with the audio card here. Maybe I need to invest in another type of system that will send a cleaner audio out. I'm not 100% sure. And I'll admit it straight up that I'm not an audio guy. I just do my best to get clean, presentable sound for this production, or any production, to be honest. That's my biggest fear, actually, in most productions, is the audio. So the less stress I have with audio, the better. But when it comes to monitoring these things, I'm having a look onto the sound card. I'm also having a look at the signal that's coming in the computer. Everything appears to be normal, clean. And I don't hear anything through the monitors here either. So it's a little bit of a trial and error, research and development kind of situation here, to see what is the problem and what could potentially be the problem in anyone's future productions. I'll add just a short comparison of the complexity that can be involved in something like this here. Now, this is obviously intended for more advanced users, and this is kind of hitting my ceiling of audio knowledge. Like I said, I've been working in the industry for quite some time, and I've played around with certain things, but I'm still always a little bit nervous when it comes to the audio aspect of filmmaking. I much prefer to leave that up to someone who knows what they're doing and can fine-tune it. However, that doesn't stop me to endeavour to capture fantastic sounding audio for my video productions, and particularly when I can do it myself and also offer it as a service to others. I still need to make sure that I'm on top of my game when it comes to problem solving. So these things happen in all productions, and it's always good to practice. And this is exactly what I'm doing now. It's intended for me to practice in getting better for capturing audio-visual stuff, content. Now, the biggest difference between doing something like this, where you have all these different boxes and bits and pieces and cables sticking out everywhere, this is kind of more intended for a little bit more of a permanent setup for somebody like myself. I would like to have this as a normal studio situation for myself when I'm doing these explanation videos or tutorial videos or whatever it is, announcements. I mean, again, this also goes to what you're willing to do. If you really just want a simple, quick, easy setup that's going to deliver a fantastic picture, then you can't really go past something like this, to be honest. Like, this is pretty solid setup, pretty cheap. You know, you make one investment, you purchase a decent onboard mic like this. It's very simple connectivity, and it delivers fantastic audio, as you discovered here in the first part of the video. Like, really, I don't see that it's totally necessary to go as far as we're going right now. Again, horses for courses. This is a different process, of course, but opposed to a simple, pretty damn well good developed and fantastic right out of the box delivery from this kind of camera setup, whether it was from it being directly cabled. Even though this is directly cabled, I have the microphone pointing back at me when I'm doing the observation videos. You can deliver a pretty damn well close to pro product without the kerfuffle and the hassle of having to have a sound card and having to have all these cables and support gear and then having to do it and set it up for this and that the other. I think the technology's come a really long way to empower and enable us to be able to achieve what we want for a very low budget. Like, it's a no-brainer, from my personal opinion. But, you know, of course you've got people like myself and people in the industry that we freak out at getting the opportunity to play with these little things, because, like, the more you know, the more you can kind of explore all these different possibilities. And especially coming from my background too, from doing live concerts and stuff like that with multi-camera setups, that's on a different league of things. However, it's so exciting from my perspective. Like, this is something that is just like, whoa, the technology that enables you to do all of these dynamic different angles, perspectives, playing around with so many things. It's like that's my kind of freak nature of things. I love this. But that being said, without getting too much on a tangent, I'm trying to keep things as simple as possible here for those who want to either go a little bit more premium with their setup, who do want to invest in creating content, whether it's for small businesses, to make their content, to make a cool little studio within their premises, and it won't break the bank. In fact, it's probably the best kind of investment that, you know, any business is going to make, is because it's communication. You have the tools then to be able to communicate your, not only your business, but also to show. And this is exactly what I'm doing here with this demonstration. I'm showing that this is my business. I'm showing that this is something that I can help provide in terms of a knowledge, but also show that it is a problem-solving process. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to claim that I have all the answers. However, I'm going to do my very best to be able to find that solution that is going to create that picture that's going to please me or my clients or my network, you know? And whatever information I'm able to provide here through problem solving and this kind of live demonstration, because this is real raw. Like, this is, you know, I've done a couple of takes with the intro and stuff like that, but everything else is pretty much off the top of my head, and I'm rolling with it. And I'm not ashamed. And I think all of you guys will appreciate too the kind of realness and the rawness of it all, because, you know, this is real life. This is part of the creativity, but it's also the technical aspect, which can be quite daunting for a lot of people, whether they're professionals, amateurs, bakers, coffee makers, whatever it is. The information I'm trying to provide here is purely creative and contribution, especially knowledge sharing. Like I would feel so good if anyone who is watching this right now took this information away and instantly improved their production. And that would just be an honor for me. Like, I'm not going to have an ego about it. I'm going to say, here's the information. Go and create. Invite me to come along. I want to come and try your cupcakes. I want to come and drink your coffee. I want to come and see your performance. I want to see it online. I want to see, you know, the whole community around me grow. And I think that's pretty much getting a little bit deep and philosophical right now. Oh my God. The sentiment by it all. And this is the whole point of this demonstration today. So, yes, I went off on a tangent, and I hope that this audio wasn't hissing, but it is, just an atonement of how it looks, how it feels. You know, we can go on. But I think I'm going to switch over now to a different microphone, just to play with what's going on here. And, I'm going to switch over to the Shure microphone. Through the tube amplifier and see what effect that gives us. So let's do that now. So we're back to iPhone Vision. What we're going to do is we're going to switch over now from the Scarlett Studio mic that we have here, which provided lovely audio to our camera, to a much more unconventional way of sending audio to a sound card to a camera. This will be interesting because it was the first time today that I tested this out, but I had this in the back of my head to try out for such a long time that my curiosity got the best of me, and I wanted to know if it works. And spoiler alert, it works. But let's test it out and see what goes on here. So for this particular one, I've got a tube amp already that's sending phantom power, so I don't need to have phantom power in my I/O card, because I'm going to send that directly from this tube amplifier into here. So first things first, this might actually be easier if I switch over to the Fuji after I get this set up. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to up the volume, and then I'm going to up the volume here. So my predetermined output here, so my mic input gain, and then my output gain, and then seeing what I can do here to push audio through that one. So now we've got peaking. That's not good. So yeah, now it seems to be peaking. I'm going to try and bring that down to normal level, so it's a green. So what we got here on the camera, it looks like that we have got audio, and this is on the handheld mic. So let's switch over and see how it sounds. Yeah, let me see here. Let's get this audio checked up here. Now this is not going to be the best audio quality, I don't think. Yeah, this is pretty unconventional, going through a tube amplifier to a sound card to a camera via a SDI Thunderbolt cable into a capture computer card. Like, I'll do a comparison. So we'll do a little audio check through the. We're going to go now to what was captured on the computer. So here, let me just talk about this little studio monitor, Ultra Studio monitor from Blackmagic Design. This is a cool little device to be able to capture whatever it is onto a conventional monitor when you're doing your editing and other kind of capture playback devices. So let's switch over to the camera internal audio recording and see if there is a difference there. Once again, from the top, this is a little studio Ultra Studio Mini recorder, monitor. This is intended for sending out a signal from your computer to a conventional LCD monitor or SDI monitor to view your editing software or whatever other programs you're looking to send out a video signal. So yeah, anyway, we will go back to the best sounding audio in all of this. This is an interesting comparison because I don't think I would ever use, outside of the realm of music, one of these microphones for a video production. But that's the whole purpose of this this video, is to see what is possible. Like, to go, hey, it works. And if this is all you've got available, then you can make it work with maybe the stuff that you've got lying around, or what your parents might have lying around, or your friends may have available for you to be able to produce this stuff. Now, again, this is a really funny way of presenting it, but like I said, it's here. It's all practical. It's all possible. So I think that's the fun part. But I don't want to ramble on too much because I'm not 100% sure of what the result of this is, and I hear a little bit of hissing in the headphones right now. I'm not sure if it'll be able to be fixed up, but anyway, let's hope that it's audible. And yeah, let's go over to the next part of the video. The demonstration is pretty much done, I believe. There are smaller details that go into this, but again, it's not super complicated. In fact, the reason why we have like these small little bits of hardware is to kind of be precise and exact on what we want to capture and how we want to capture it. I tried to keep this as very raw and as real as possible in the demonstration, giving as much kind of insight and perspective from my brain that I can give out there to the world. And yeah, I think it's a pretty successful capture, to be honest. I have tried a couple of new things, i.e. going with the Shure microphone. That one I was very excited to see what the result was, and you know what? It actually came out with a half decent result. I mean, of course, objectively speaking here, but we're not doing things 100% professional in this sense. We're just getting it set up so we can do our refinements here and there. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like anything else I was thinking, because I didn't really want to go too much into setting up all the lights and all that kind of stuff. I kept it very simple here, just for this example. We've got a simple key light. I haven't done anything with the background. It's just the plain white wall in the background. I'm getting kind of like a bit of a reflection and negative from the cabinet that's here in the lounge room. But everything else is, I mean, you can do smaller refinements. Like, let's say, for example, if you want to kind of mitigate any of the echo in the room or any other noise in the room, you can set up a blanket or a duvet, depending on where you're from, or something that can kind of dampen any of the echo in the room. So, hello, you can hear that there's a little bit of an echo, but it's not gonna, break a production if you're on a limited budget here. Now, when it comes to some of these, the equipment, I'm going to be straight up about it. So the camera that I'm filming on right now, I paid 4,000 kroner, Norwegian kroner. So you can do your conversion. I can't be bothered going through US dollar, Australian dollar, pound, euro, just for that conversion, do your own conversion. So 4,000 for the camera. The lens that's on there, that's a nice Canon lens, EF mount, which is this particular camera's mounting system. I paid like, 5,000 krona for that lens. So you can start to do the tally add up for the total cost for this kind of top-down production value, particularly from this demonstration. And then a tripod, I probably paid like maybe 1,500 krona, 1,500 krona back in the day. This is years ago now, but this is just a spare video tripod that I had lying around for multi-camera productions. Yeah, then we've got of course the capture card that's there. I paid 400 krona for it. Again, you would buy these new, they're a lot more expensive. Then of course you've got to pay for the cables and all this kind of stuff. So an SDI cable will probably set you back, depending on the length that you get, anywhere between 150 to 500-600 krona. And of course, you can get much more expensive ones than that, but for in a studio, you don't need a whole length of cable. Then there, of course, is the audio cables. I think I paid the ones that are plugged into the camera directly into the audio card here. They were, I think, 150, 200, maybe 300 krona each. So let's say 500 krona for the cables. Then, of course, the audio card I picked up for, I think, what was it, like 400 krona or something like that. And then I paid another 200 krona for this microphone I found on a deal. It was incredible. And it came with the XLR cable, so that saved me some money as well. I paid like 10 krona for this special USB cable that that you need for it, USB-B, I don't know. And then of course the headphones too. They came with the studio package, which is a great deal. I'm not going to lie. And then of course, we've got our lighting solution. Lights you can get for anywhere from 1,000 krona to 10,000 krona plus. But for this particular one, I think I paid second-hand 2,000 krona for it. And then the soft box was like another 800 krona or something like that. And then the stand is 200, 300, 400 krona, depending on the quality you get, of course. And then what else was there? Yeah, of course you need a computer that's going to be able to be your hub for sending a signal, whether it is through streaming software or if you're doing a direct capture like what I'm doing right now. I would always recommend to send that capture to a SSD, because that's the nature of the beast, and that's actually what this recording is doing right now. So I think I'll sign it off there, but I really hope you enjoyed this content, and if you've got any questions about it, please just leave a comment in the comments field or contact me directly if you've got my telephone number, and if you're one of those people. Let me just have a look over my list of what's... I'll do a bit of a recap over the whole entire production. So we started off with the Fujifilm camera, this little rocket ship. I really love this camera. This is such a, not only an aesthetically pleasing looking camera, but it's it delivers a really fantastic result. So that with the wireless mic setup, as well as the wired distance mic setup, as well as the onboard camera setup here. One detail didn't go was to actually, some people have the camera mic on board and then they sit a distance away. Like, I think we're a little bit advanced here in this particular conversation, that you want to bring your microphone as close to the subject as possible. So I kind of skipped over that step because I kind of assumed that some people would know. But if you didn't know, well, now you know. And then the production camera 4K, what we're filming on right now, for an older camera, I can't complain. We can definitely see here from the result. So the Shure mic via the tube, which gave surprising results, which is kind of fun. The Focusrite Scarlett mic studio setup here, which is, for me, delivers a pretty nice result. And then plugging direct into the computer, so you can use this as a webcam if you wish, or for streaming and doing lessons and whatnot like that. So it gives you alternatives of what you can deliver here for very little money at the end of the day, when it's an investment, if this is what you want to get into. So we went from simple setups to the more complicated and non-conventional setups, as we mentioned before. What I didn't get into was getting into the more complicated studio stuff, but I think I'll leave that for a standalone video for another time. But I think that's it from my list for now. Like I said, I'll just trial this one, put this one together and see what it looks like. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.